How to mini cut without losing muscle. That's the topic of today's video, and I'm excited to walk you through how to mini cut because I'm actually about to start my very own mini cut myself. And that's the reason why I wanted to put this video together. Over the next month or so, I'm going to be documenting my progress across a 4-week mini cut, and before I dive into it, I thought I would outline all of the reasons why you might mini cut, how you might structure a mini cut, and really what this is all about to help you if at some point down the road you want to give it a shot. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Chris. I'm an online fitness coach. I work with people all over the world to build muscle, burn fat, and improve their healthy lifestyle habits. If you find this type of content helpful, I would love it for you to subscribe. And if you want a free training program that'll help you get off to the right start, you could subscribe to my mailing list. There's a link in the show notes. What you will get as a free gift for signing up is my free 21-day jumpstart program. 21-day jumpstart is designed to help you understand how to get on a program, understand how a program works, and to actually start making progress in as little as 3 weeks. I'm going to be doing this video for you while I actually do a lower body workout, so as we move forward, you'll see some footage of me training, but before I hit my first set of hack squats, which I'm very excited about, let's talk about just some of the basic concepts of a mini cut. The point of a mini cut is to essentially extend the lifespan of your bulk. It's supposed to be a short period of time amidst a longer bulk, a longer calorie surplus where you're diving into a quick, aggressive deficit to lose a bunch of body fat, keep your body composition in check so that you can get back into a surplus and continue training hard. A mini cut is typically around 4 weeks in length. Sometimes it can be a little bit shorter and sometimes it can be a little bit longer depending on what your progress looks like, what your goals are, and kind of how this all fits into your overall training schedule. But right around 4 weeks is typically a good ballpark. And I want to stress that right off the bat because sometimes I'll hear coaches say like, oh, I'm doing a 10-week or a 12-week mini cut. And gotta be honest with you, if you're cutting, if you're in a fat loss phase for 10 to 12 weeks, there's nothing mini about that. That is several months of being in a calorie deficit, and at that point, it's just a cut. It's just a fat loss phase. So a mini cut is something short, and really what a mini cut is designed to be is a more aggressive fat loss phase where you're trying to get off a sizable amount of body fat in a very short period of time, and that's all with the intention so that you can continue building muscle. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I've been in an extended calorie surplus since the beginning of fall, and so as I've gone along here, I've hit one mini cut already, and I'm about to do my second mini cut that will then allow me to get back into a surplus, continue training hard, continue trying to build muscle and strength until I hit the summer months when I'll do a more lengthened, more sustainable type of extended fat loss phase. And I just said that word sustainable. So what a mini cut is generally not as sustainable, okay? When you get into a mini cut, you're trying to do something that's bordering the edge of unsustainable, but you have a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, okay, I'm only gonna be in an aggressive calorie deficit for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then you get right back into a surplus. I generally don't tell people to do unsustainable things with their training or their nutrition, but for this specific concept for a mini cut, I do think it can be done appropriately because the goal here is to just lose as much fat as possible in a short period of time. Now, in next week's video, I'll actually be outlining for you the starting point for my mini cut. So I'm going to be starting my mini cut on February 5th, and from that point each week, I will have a video for you breaking down how the week went, what my progress looks like, how I manage my training and nutrition, and all that good stuff. And if you go over to my YouTube channel, you'll see there is a how to mini cut playlist that you can follow and use to watch all the videos in this series. Now, with that said, let's hit some hack squats, and then I will dive back into the details of how to structure a mini cut, and we'll talk about training. Okay, feeling warm. Hack squats went well. Leg extensions are up next, but first let's talk about training in a mini cut. Typically when training in a mini cut, you'll want to reduce your volume, and by that I mean you'll want to reduce the overall amount of sets that you're doing per muscle group. And the reason for that is you'll typically reduce your calories a pretty aggressive amount, and I'm going to talk about nutrition here in just a moment. But since you're going to reduce your calories rather dramatically, you're not going to be in a position where you can actually build muscle, okay? A mini cut is not about building muscle, it's about losing body fat. So we're kind of putting those muscle gain goals on the back burner just for a few weeks while we lose body fat, and because of that, your body is going to have higher recovery demands. The nutrition that's coming into your body is going to all need to be allocated towards recovery. So if you're doing volumes that look just like your bulk, where maybe you're prioritizing a muscle group or two and you're doing super high volumes like 15, 20, 25 sets for a muscle group, you can't do that in a mini cut. You need to bring everything back down more or less towards your maintenance volume. And if you don't know what your maintenance volume is, generally speaking, it can be as little as like a quarter to a third of the normal volume that you do for each muscle group. You're going to want to reduce your volume down to those numbers so that your body can actually recover from your training sessions. And again, the priority here is not to build muscle, the priority is to lose body fat. There's no sense in hammering away at your muscles when you can't grow those muscles. Now let's talk about cardio as well, because I think people often associate cardio and fat loss as like the same thing. So, oh, if I want to lose weight, if I want to lose body fat, if I want to get rid of those love handles, I need to go to the gym and do sprints on the bike, slave away for hours on the stair stepper. That's the generally popular train of thought. And again, we're going to want to kind of skew away from the higher volumes or the higher intensities with cardio as well. Yes, it's going to be beneficial for you to be regularly active. Cardio is great for your overall health. It can, to a very, very small degree, help with your energy expenditure, but we're not doing cardio to try and create extra fat loss in this mini cut. Really, I want you to just stay regularly active, because being regularly active is helpful. It's good from a physiological perspective, from an overall health perspective. So what I like to do is either do very low intensity cardio, like an easy cycle on the spin bike, going outside for a walk, or just simply hitting a step count goal every single day. Any one of those options a few times a week, or hitting your steps every single day, is more than enough from a cardio perspective to help with your fat loss progress in this mini cut. Because again, I will state this one more time, we are not using cardio, we are not using strength training to try and create more fat loss. We will be using our nutrition, which we'll get into here next after I hit these leg extensions. We will be using nutrition to create a rather sizable calorie deficit and to create the fat loss that you're looking for. If you do go to the all-out higher limits and higher intensities of strength training and cardio, what will likely happen is you will make an already unsustainable program even less sustainable, and that's going to lead to overwhelming amounts of fatigue, soreness, hunger, and you probably will end up quitting the mini cut when you could have just scaled things back a little bit and had a very successful mini cut. All right, last piece to the puzzle. Let's talk about nutrition for mini cuts. So I've mentioned this kind of consistently throughout this video so far, but we're doing something that is aggressive. We're doing something that is kind of unsustainable long term. So when we're talking about your nutrition and using nutrition to create the fat loss you're looking for, we're going to be creating a rather sizable reduction in your calories to get you in a pretty aggressive calorie deficit. If you're unfamiliar with a calorie deficit, what that simply means is that you're consuming fewer calories from food than your body burns each day. And if you want to know how to get in a calorie deficit, I have an article on my website that explains exactly how. I will link that in the show notes. So when you go into a more sustainable fat loss phase and a sustainable calorie deficit, I generally recommend reducing calories somewhere between 10 to 15% from your maintenance. And that tends to be a relatively small amount of calories, 200 to 300 that you remove from each day, and that's pretty easy to do. Well, with a mini cut, we're talking more like 25 to 30% reduction in calories. And that can lead to quite a bit of calories removed from your diet. So let's say you maintain on about 2,500 calories a day. To reduce by, say, 25%, that would bring you down to eating around 1,900 calories a day. So 600 calories fewer than you were maintaining. And that's an entire meal. So again, this is more aggressive and it's more challenging. The key to doing this the right way is to prioritize just a few things in your diet to make this calorie deficit manageable for the 4 weeks or however long you mini cut for. Number one, make sure you're eating high protein. What I recommend is taking your height in centimeters and then whatever that number is, eat that many grams of protein a day. I am about 182 centimeters tall, so I try to eat around 180 to 190 grams of protein every single day. Protein is going to help your body recover from your workouts. We talked about why that's so important earlier. Protein's also going to make your meals much more filling. So the more filling your meals are, the more satisfied you'll hopefully feel throughout the day, and the easier it'll be to be in this aggressive calorie deficit for an extended period of time. The other thing I want you to prioritize is fiber in your diet. A general rule of thumb is 14 to 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories that you're eating. So if you're gonna mini cut on 2,000 calories, that means you'd wanna eat somewhere between probably like 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. Now the key is to make sure you get your fiber from eating tons of fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables tend to be very high volume foods, and high volume foods are those foods you can eat that are very large in their size, that come with a very small amount of calories. So you think about like eating a salad as compared to eating a piece of pizza. You could eat a huge salad in a bowl with lots of vegetables on top, maybe a little bit of light or no calorie dressing, and get a ton of volume in that bowl. And it could be the same amount of calories as a single slice of pizza. Which one of those two foods do you think is going to fill you up more? The high volume option is going to fill you up more. So by eating as many fruits and vegetables as you can throughout the day, consistently every day, fiber is also going to help fill you up, and it's going to help with digestion. It's just going to make this entire process as sustainable as it possibly can be. Now, sometimes I get questions about like, hey, can I use calorie cycling since this is more aggressive and give myself a couple high days of calories throughout the week? And you can, but you have to understand that that's gonna make your low calorie days even lower than they already were. So on that example where you were maintaining at 2,500 calories and you had to drop it down to 1,900 for this mini cut, well then if you reduce from 1,900 to say 1,800, that's gonna be even more challenging for 5 days of the week. It will allow you to have a couple days where you're eating like 2,100 to 2,200 calories. You have to weigh the cost and benefits of that to see if that's going to be worth it to have even lower calorie days throughout the week. To get 2 slightly higher calorie days, it's really up to you. Generally, I think it's easiest to just pick the calorie number, eat that many calories every single day, kind of grin and bear it throughout this process, be as consistent as you possibly can. And then at the end of it, like I said before, there's a light at the end of the tunnel where you get to bring your calories back up to maintenance and everything gets a bit more manageable. Listen, I hope you found this video helpful. And like I said before, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already, because each week here I'm going to be sharing my progress throughout the mini cut. And next week I will be doing an episode on my starting point. I'll show you my beginning body composition, talk through my nutrition, how I set up how many calories and protein I'm going to be eating, my training, tell you how I adjusted volume and intensity from where I'm at right now in my bulk, and then we'll follow through the process and see what the results end up being at the end of 4 weeks. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you. I'll talk to you again in the next one.